How to compare and choose between competing hypotheses. Not all questions have definitive answers. In the absence of certainty, analysis of competing hypotheses, or ACH, can help differentiate between plausible answers and objectively and systematically determine the most likely explanation. Originally designed for analyzing national security issues, ACH can be just as useful in everyday life. Here's how it works. You will need a closed-ended question to analyze, a list of plausible hypotheses, a list of evidence, and critical thinking. This video is intended only as an overview of ACH. For a more in-depth understanding, sign up for a class. Step 1. Generate a list of hypotheses that represent all plausible answers to the question you are analyzing. Make sure your hypotheses are mutually exclusive, meaning that no two hypotheses can simultaneously be true. Also, try to make them collectively exhaustive, meaning that at least one of them must be true. Keep the list as short as possible, while still being as comprehensive as necessary to answer the question. Step 2. Identify the pieces of evidence that you think either support or refute specific hypotheses. Group pieces of information that should logically be considered together. Throughout the process, be aware of and consistent about the assumptions you are making regarding the evidence. Step 3. Create the matrix with your hypotheses in the column headings and all relevant evidence in the row headings. You may also want to add an additional column to record your assumptions. Once you've created the matrix, use it to evaluate the consistency of each piece of evidence against each hypothesis. Determine whether the evidence is consistent, meaning that it supports the hypothesis, inconsistent, meaning that it refutes the hypothesis, not applicable, meaning it is not relevant to the hypothesis, or sufficient to disprove the hypothesis completely. Only choose disprove when there is clear and irrefutable evidence that makes a hypothesis implausible. Step 4. Cross out any evidence you consider non-diagnostic, meaning that it is equally consistent with all hypotheses or not applicable to any. Also cross out any hypotheses that you have disproved. Step 5. Add up the inconsistencies for each remaining hypothesis. The one with the fewest inconsistencies is the most likely hypothesis. Remember, not all inconsistencies are equally important. Apply critical thinking when determining the most likely hypotheses. Step 6. Gauge how sensitive to change your conclusions are by varying some of your assumptions and omitting various sources of evidence. Step 7. Present the likelihood of each hypothesis relative to the others. Be sure to include critical assumptions, key diagnostic evidence, and underlying reasoning. Step 8. Finally, identify and discuss any potential evidence, events, or changes that might alter your conclusions. If you cannot differentiate between hypotheses, you may need to seek out additional diagnostic evidence. Did you know? The acronym GIGO stands for Garbage In, Garbage Out. It's a good reminder that ACH is only as effective as the thinking you apply to it.